I used to believe I was invincible, not in a loud, arrogant way, but in the quiet confidence of someone who thinks time is always on their side. I believed my body would forgive every late night, every ignored ache, every moment I told myself, I'll deal with it later. I believed tomorrow was guaranteed. I believed it would come gently, carrying solutions for everything I chose to avoid today. I was wrong. Now I'm 73 years old, sitting alone in a quiet room where silence feels heavier than sound. I listen to my own breathing, not out of fear, but out of awareness. Each breath feels like a sentence in a story my body has been writing for decades. A story I never bothered to read until now. It speaks slowly, honestly, without anger. And that honesty is what hurts the most. This isn't a warning. This isn't advice. This isn't meant to scare you. This is simply my truth. For years, I thought strength meant pushing through everything. Rest felt like laziness. Slowing down felt like failure. I wore exhaustion like a badge of honor and ignored the quiet signals asking me to pay attention. I thought listening could wait. I thought I had time. But time doesn't argue. It doesn't announce when it's leaving. It just keeps moving, whether you're ready or not. Now, in this stillness, I finally hear what I spent a lifetime avoiding. Not regret filled with panic, but regret filled with clarity. A calm, aching realization that the body remembers everything, even when the mind chooses not to. And if you're listening to this right now, maybe it's not by accident. Maybe part of you already feels it. The knowing, the quiet voice saying, pay attention. I ignored mine for 40 years. I hope you don't have to. When I was young, health felt automatic, like air. I never thought about it because it was always there. I woke up strong without effort. I slept deeply without stiffness or discomfort waiting for me in the morning. I ate whatever was convenient, whatever tasted good, whatever filled the moment. I worked endlessly, proudly, believing that energy was infinite and my body was built to keep up forever. Back then, people would occasionally say, take care of yourself. Not urgently, not seriously, just casually, like a suggestion. I'd smile, wave it off, and reply, I will. Later. Later felt responsible. Later felt mature. Later felt safe. But later is dangerous when it never arrives. Later quietly became next year. Next year became 5. 5 became 10. And before I realized it, decades had passed without me ever checking in with myself. I truly believed health was something you lose suddenly. One bad day, one unlucky moment, one dramatic event. I didn't understand that it usually leaves in silence. No alarms, no announcements, just small compromises repeated daily. One ignored ache, one restless night dismissed, one habit excused because life felt busy. I wasn't careless, I was confident, and that confidence taught me too late that neglect doesn't feel like harm at first. It feels like freedom, until one day it doesn't. In my 30s and 40s, I was busy building a life, or at least that's what I told myself. Every day was filled with work, responsibilities, deadlines, bills, and a constant pressure to keep moving. Stress became normal. Fatigue became routine. I wore busyness like proof that I was doing something right. I kept repeating the same quiet promises to myself. I don't have time to think about my body. I'll rest when things slow down. Everyone feels tired. It's just part of life. Those words felt logical, sensible, even mature. But deep down, something had already begun to shift. It wasn't dramatic. It was subtle, almost polite. A small ache that took longer to fade, a breath that felt slightly shorter at the top of the stairs, energy that didn't return as quickly as it used to. Nothing serious, nothing worth stopping for, or so I thought. I convinced myself that listening meant weakness, that pausing meant falling behind. So I pushed through, I adjusted, I normalized the discomfort and learned how to live around it instead of facing it. Ignoring felt easier than listening. Quieter, less inconvenient. I didn't realize then that every time I dismissed those small signals, I was teaching my body that its voice didn't matter. And slowly, without protest, it stopped whispering and started waiting for the day I'd finally be forced to listen. As long as I can function, I'm fine. I built my entire life around that belief. If I could get out of bed, go to work, meet my obligations, and keep moving forward, then everything must be okay. Pain was just noise. Fatigue was just part of adulthood. Discomfort was something to push through, not listen to. I thought functioning meant I was winning. But functioning is not the same as living. Living has space to breathe. Living has energy left at the end of the day. Living feels present, not just productive. I didn't understand that at the time. I thought slowing down meant falling behind. So I kept pushing, past exhaustion, past warning signs, past moments where my body quietly asked for respect. Each time I dismissed it, I felt proud of myself for being strong. I didn't see that strength was slowly turning into denial. Every time I chose convenience over care, I told myself it was temporary. Just this week, just this phase, just until things get easier. But life rarely gets easier on its own. It just keeps asking more. What I couldn't see was that I was making quiet withdrawals from my future. No dramatic loss, no sudden collapse, just small deductions taken daily without permission. Energy here, comfort there, resilience little by little. And then one day, without warning or ceremony, I realized something was gone. Not all at once, but enough to notice. The account wasn't just low, it was empty. And standing there, at the edge of that realization, I finally understood the cost of surviving instead of living, and how expensive that lie had truly been. It was a slow realization, quiet, almost gentle, the kind you don't notice at first because nothing feels wrong enough. One ordinary morning, I woke up expecting my body to do what it had always done, cooperate. Instead, I felt hesitation. Not pain exactly, caution, as if every movement needed approval. And that's when it struck me with terrifying clarity. My body no longer trusted me. It moved carefully, like it was protecting itself from me. It complained more openly, no longer whispering. It demanded attention, not out of anger, but out of necessity. Attention I had denied it for decades while I chased deadlines, distractions, and the illusion of control. In that moment, regret didn't arrive as fear or panic. It arrived as grief, a deep, heavy grief. Grief for the body that carried me through years of neglect without complaint. Grief for the strength that showed up every day while I treated it as something expendable. Grief for all the moments I told myself I had unlimited time, when time was quietly passing, taking notes. There was no drama, no urgency, just the unbearable understanding that something precious had been worn down by my own indifference, and that realization stayed with me longer than any pain ever could. I don't blame my younger self, not anymore. For a long time, I wanted to. It felt easier to be angry, to point fingers at the man I used to be and list all the ways he failed me. But anger fades, and what's left is understanding. He was trying to survive in a world that rewarded endurance, not awareness. He was trying to succeed in a life that demanded more every year and gave less space to slow down. He was trying to be strong in the only way he knew how, by pushing forward, by staying silent, by never admitting when something felt off. He didn't ignore his body out of cruelty. He ignored it out of pressure. Back then, strength meant endurance. It meant swallowing discomfort and calling it discipline. It meant proving your worth by how much you could tolerate without stopping. I was praised for that, encouraged by it, shaped by it. But now I understand something I couldn't see then. Strength isn't ignoring pain. Strength isn't pretending you're fine. Strength isn't outlasting your own limits. Real strength is respect. Respect for the body that carries your memories, your work, your love, your entire existence. Respect for the signals it sends, not to inconvenience you, but to protect you. Respect for the truth that you only get one vessel to live this life in. I learned that lesson late, later than I wish I had. But maybe not too late, because learning something only becomes a mistake if you keep it to yourself. And if my reflection can reach you now, wherever you are in your journey, then maybe my timing isn't just about regret. Maybe it's about responsibility. Responsibility to be honest. Responsibility to pass the awareness forward. Responsibility to turn a lifetime of silence into one moment of truth, meant for you. But because it remembers everything you choose to forget, every skipped pause, every ignored signal, every moment you told yourself you'd deal with it later. I spent most of my life believing rest was weakness, that slowing down meant losing ground, that if I stopped, even briefly, I'd fall behind while the world kept moving without me. So I stayed in motion. Constantly, proudly, I mistook exhaustion for dedication and tension for purpose. No one ever told me that a life lived at full speed can still feel empty. No one explained that rest isn't quitting, it's listening. That slowing down doesn't mean giving up. It means staying present long enough to feel your own life. Now I understand something that once felt impossible to accept. Slowing down isn't the opposite of progress. It's often the reason progress lasts. There are moments in life when pausing is not indulgence, but survival. When awareness matters more than achievement. When paying attention to yourself is the only way to remain fully alive in the life you're building. I didn't learn that early. I learned it late. But learning it at all changed how I see everything, especially time.